Hello everybody, how you doing, alright? Well, I don't expect everyone to be cheerful and jumping up and down with joy at the moment, far from it. I understand if you're all feeling a bit apprehensive and scared and down in the dumps, but I have something called an optimism bias. Working in IT solutions, I'm someone who troubleshoots and who looks for the answer to problems. And every problem does have an answer, it's just sometimes we don't know it or we don't have access to implement it. So this is a video of positivity and hope and optimism, and I must say the music is so far making it easier. We're talking 1991, now 20. We made 2-0, the big 2-0, and it's 8 years after the first now. Piece of music that kicks off side one. Scientifically impossible to say unhappy when this is playing. Of course, it's Vic, Reeves, and the Wonder Stuff, and the uncredited Bob Mortimer. This comes from the era when he was doing Vic Reeves' Big Night Out, and pretty much after that it became Vic and Bob. And now I think it's Vic and Bob's Night Out, still on TV after all this time. Huge Vic and Bob fan. I think they're geniuses when it comes to comedy. And in 1991, that was their first real year on TV. They've just gone from strength to strength throughout the 90s and noughties. A permanent fixture. Just English institutions. Yeah, they had a few big songs in 91. They're weird, sort of, not really out-and-out comedy. I mean, in a way, he's taking it really seriously. It's the intensity of it. If you like Vic and you like Bob, then you'll just love this. Massive student disco hit. And one of the best openers to a Now album for ages. A really in-your-face, get up and dance, indie disco classic. Loads of washing machines, whirlpools in the video. Yeah, what a cracking start, really. This one certainly gives you a bit of rocket fuel. We follow it up with Live Your Life Be Free by Belinda Carlisle. She's still pumping them out big time. You know, she's maybe a bit past her peak, but she's still around. It's been a remarkable run of successful songs for her, really. Live Your Life Be Free is pretty much like all the others, with a sort of 16 bars of a dance beat in the middle for no apparent reason. Maybe just to show that she's aware of the fact it's 1991, no longer 1988. But other than that, the song's more or less interchangeable with anything else she's done. So that's pretty good. Right, okay. Next up, a song where it was a real comeback for U2. And I'm trying to think the last time U2 had a hit. I think it was about 89. So about 2 years later, they are back. And of course, the 80s has become the 90s now. Here they are with The Fly. And this was U2's first single from Acting Baby, and what to make of it? It's still basically U2 as always. Bono smoking in the video. I didn't know he smoked. Yeah, basically it's a little bit dancey in terms of the beat. They've certainly adapted their rhythm to that beat I was talking about in the Depeche Mode one, Now 7. Instead of just a plain kind of 4-on-the-floor rock beat. But sonically and lyrically and harmonically, it's still very much classic U2. So yeah, pretty good actually. A good way of kind of updating their sound. Right, now we've got, talking of U2, Where the Streets Have No Name. Good sequencing, very clever. But by the Pet Shop Boys, with a little bit of I Can't Take My Eyes Off You by Frankie Valli in the middle. Oh God, this is really the first Pet Shop Boys song that came out. You're just like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing to yourselves? What are you doing? You know, if you want to do a cover of U2 Where the Streets Have No Name, fair enough. You could do a fairly good high energy version of it. If you want to do a cover of I Can't Take My Eyes Off You, Lauryn Hill did a great cover of that, and the original by Frankie Valli is just sublime. What on earth are you doing shoving those two songs together in this really kind of dated now high energy beat? Is it ironic? Is it funny? Is it taking a piss out of U2? Is it taking a piss out of Frankie Valli? No. Had they done them as separate songs, they might have both worked individually. But it's what we call custard and mustard. They're nice individually, but you don't want them on the same plate. Right, okay, Erasure next. And Love to Hate You. So the 80s synth duos are still going strong. Love to Hate You is a very thinly disguised kind of reworking of I Will Survive, really. Pretty much the same. But actually for a Erasure song, it's pretty good. Slightly different in the style. It's a weird kind of camp disco. It does remind me of Yazoo. It's not quite as over bleepy as some of theirs. So yeah, it's pretty good. And that's followed by a very surprising comeback for OMD, of all people. Let's stick a bit of this one on. So it's another early 80s band. They're back again. And they've kind of merged their simultaneous old style with the new kind of techno thing. It's Sailing on the Seven Seas, which has got the sort of swing beat thing. Wait for it. See, I wasn't lying. Sailing on the Seven Seas. Yeah, pretty good comeback single, actually. As with Erasure above, they've kind of modernised their sound a bit, but it's not just a kind of bandwagon thing. It's still very much in keeping with their old stuff. Got the big kind of chorus. So yeah, another good song, another good comeback. Followed this by, are you noticing something? Another comeback. Simply Red. Something Got Me Started. This is their first single since 1989, I think. And in fact, it's a cracker of a song. This was the first single from the highly successful Stars album, and it's a right funky little jam. One of their best singles ever, really. Really good sort of funky pianos and stuff. Big fan of it. Okay, next up, Change, Lisa Stansfield. I think it's her first time on her now, I could be mistaken. Rochdale's Finest, and basically it's sort of sophisticated, fairly mature, white soul. Pretty good song. I wouldn't say it's really stood the test of time, but it's not really dated either. Now we come up with one which you don't really hear very often these days. I played it the other day for some reason. I was thinking of songs with sunshine in the title, and this one came up. It's Zoe, Sunshine on a Rainy Day. She's absolutely lovely, Zoe. Very, very nice. And the song, it's a really, really good kind of 1991 song. Very much tells you where the year was at. It's post-dance again. It's got the soul-to-soul-y shuffle beat, but it's broadened out with kind of folk, nice acoustic guitar, fairly new age in its style. Massive summer song through 91, really. So yeah, good old Zoe. We follow this one up with Let's Talk About Sex, Salt and Pepper. And yeah, one of their best songs, if not their best song. One of their most lyrically sort of on it songs. Obviously, free prizes for guessing what Let's Talk About Sex talks about. But it does it in a good way, in a very astute way. Obviously, in the kind of post-AIDS era. It's a very grown-up song, actually. But you can still dance to it, and you can still jump around. So, great stuff there. Not so successful. Maybe I Want to Sex You Up, Colour Me Bad. Which is maybe, whereas I was just saying Salt and Pepper talks about sex in a very mature, kind of grown-up way. I Want to Sex You Up. Nah. There's Colour Me Bad, who were a kind of poor man's New Kids on the Block, who were a poor man's, just sort of rubbishy boy bands, really. I mean, I Want to Sex You Up's not bad. I had some kind of interesting harmonies and stuff. It's one of those sort of American harmony things. The oohs were okay. And the beat was alright. But just the song itself and the lyrics were a bit yucky. Okay, Kenny Thomas next, Best of You. Underrated guy, Kenny Thomas, had his moment in the sun and has pretty much disappeared. He's probably a bricklayer or something now. He was basically a kind of South London soul singer. And his biggest single was probably Thinking About Your Love. Pretty good quality stuff. This is Best of You. It's not very memorable or remembered. Got very kind of 90s, early 90s beat. but he's got a good voice, and he was a nice guy. Good positive stuff. Now, we follow that up with Prince, and I'm just trying to think if Prince has made any of these albums before. I think this might be his first appearance, actually, which is surprising. It's Prince and Get Off. Now, this was from Diamonds and Pearls. Let's stick a bit of this on. And it's Prince really going almost, in a way, back to his early stuff, but it's almost as well kind of taking on board hip-hop and stuff. It's a total shift away from his 80s style. It's kind of heavy on the funk, bit kind of 70s, got some heavy guitars on it. Oh wow, this is great. Yeah, classic Prince. Heavy old snares. And another one that I guess is filed under sex songs with a name like Get Off. What I love about Prince is that no one has managed to merge sex and spirituality and religion the way he did. He was someone who made sex always sound really spiritual and a gift from God, not sleazy, nothing like that, just really magical. Brilliant, absolute genius of music, one of the best artists of all time. And this is a really, really good song. I'd say this has well stood the test of time, really has. Okay, I'm bopping along. Next up, we've got Faith by Rosala. Faith in the Power of Love, something I definitely have. Rosala's second hit following Everybody's Free. Pretty identikit, kind of almost early hardcore with vocals to make it more poppy. And yeah, pretty good rave song. I don't think it's nowhere near as remembered as Everybody's Free. Right, the infamous 2 Unlimited now, we get ready for this. And they went on and on and on and on to have millions and millions of hits. And I respect them for that, because to churn out so many hits from a kind of Eurobeat formula, that takes a bit of skill, because it's very, very hard to stop just repeating yourself over and over again. And to be fair, most of their songs almost sounded the same. Get ready for this kind of sets a template. I don't think it had any female vocals, which was their real trademark. All that, no, there's no lyrics, and all that. Get ready for this. It's very kind of orchestral hit rave. Probably sounds highly dated now. I wouldn't say it's a real kind of rave classic. It's probably on the more commercial side. But it's, it's a very 1991 sound. Now, if we're talking songs that have stood the test of time, artists that have stood the test of time, here we say hello for the first time to, and get the right version because there's loads of it. We say hello to Mr. Moby, who was, I believe, the grandson, or he was related to the guy who wrote Moby Dick, which is where he got his name from. Eminem's old nemesis. Let go, you're too old. Nobody listens to techno. Here's Go then, and this is an immense song. This is really, really good. This is proper rave. This is kind of more underground rave. It's got the music from Twin Peaks. It's got that sort of splashy, phasey beat that Jam and Spoon would use on Stella. I think this came before that, only just. It's a those goals, they just strike you like a thunderbolt. This is such a jam. It just pulls you along. It's really haunting. Again, it's in that sort of dark dance music thing. As for Moby, a man of immense talent, albeit a little pompous with his sleeve notes and stuff on the Play album. But Play was a fantastic album. Moby, totally versatile, rave, rock, ambient electronica, the kind of bluesy stuff. Just a legend of music, really. This was such a great song. Brilliant stuff. Right, okay, we follow this one up with another one that I absolutely adore. And I hate to cut Moby short. But this song, well, let's say this song changed my life probably, because this song really played a part in my appreciation of the north of England. And now, I grew up in Sussex, I'm in Leeds, and I've pretty much been to every town in these lyrics. The lyrics are just literally a list of towns up north. And my hobby is just driving around the north of England. So any song that mentions Glossop in its lyrics is going to get my approval. Literally, I just spent... Well, I learned to drive in 91, in fact. This now coincides with when I passed my driving test. And almost immediately, as soon as I could, I was taking a little Renault 5 up around the north of England, listening to music. My brother went to Sheffield Uni, and so I just basically fell in love with the north of England. Bolton, Barnsley, Nelson, Colne, Burnley, Bradford, Buxton, Crewe, Warrington, Widnes, Wigan, Leeds, yay! Northwich, Nantwich, Knutsford, Hull, Sale, Salford, Southport, Lee, Derby, Kearsley, Keighley, Maghole, Harrogate, Huddersfield, Oldham, Lancs, Grimsby, Glossop, Hebden Bridge. I could go on, but this is literally A to Z of where I go. I love it. It's just my area. I love it. And it's grim up north. It's kind of ironic. There's so much captured in those 4 words. It's grim up north. You're really talking about the whole social and economic and cultural history of the north. You're talking about the Industrial Revolution. You're talking about the old mill towns. You're talking about the decline of industry. You're talking about the weather up here, the moors, the mountains. Oh, man. And appropriately enough, this ends with... it sort of melted from this weird art techno noise almost into... and did those feet in ancient time. Jerusalem, one about the dark satanic mills. And I love this transition here. How the techno just sort of stops and crashes. It's like just sort of a hot air balloon landing in the field, really. You lose all your kind of all your energy, and you just end up in this weird post-apocalyptic cathedral of sound. What a song! What an amazing song! Again, absolutely spellbinding and pushing the sonics of what you'd get on an Now album to their absolute nth degree. Just an amazing, amazing piece of music. Really, really... I mean, who would have thought you'd get this in the middle of a Now album? I can't cut this one. You've got to go right to the very end of this. Yeah. And, did I even say who it's by? The Justified Ancients of Moo, which is basically the KLF, basically the Time Lords. So it's their 3rd kind of incarnation now. And, yeah, just remarkable. Okay, this epic tune is followed by PM Dawn and Set Adrift on Memory Bliss. Now, true, about Spandau Ballet, that never made any of these nows. I can't say I'm totally sorry. But its instrumental hook survives in this one. This is basically amalgam of True with the Eric B. and Rakim beat, which is featured on a lot of songs so far. Set Adrift on Memory Bliss, it's kind of post-De La Soul, hippie-esque hip-hop, no gangster stuff, very kind of flowery, really big guy, I forget his name. I don't really know what happened to PM Dawn. They had a few hits, that sort of daisy hip-hop, if you like. Thinking of a master plan. It's a bit kind of cheeky using a Spandau Ballet thing, but it's kind of better than the original, really. Yeah, interesting. Big hit in 91. Right, this is followed by Don't Dream It's Over, Paul Young. Yeah, basically, this is a cover of an old Crowded House song from 1987. Very, very faithful cover. It's nice to see Paul Young back again after his long gap from his 80s successes. It's a bit bland as such after all the sort of stunning songs. It's a bit more kind of normal. But it's good. It's nice. It's a good cover. Followed by Enya. I think it's her first appearance on a Now with Caribbean Blue. Very Enya. Incredibly Enya, that kind of new age wall of kind of ambient sound stuff. It's okay. I don't really listen to Enya, but she was part of that movement, definitely. Right, Julian Lennon and the very pleasant Saltwater now. Shall we stick this one on? Because I like this. I didn't really like Too Late for Goodbyes. I didn't mind it, but it was a bit average. This though, this is great. This is the song that John didn't write. It's basically absolutely got his father's kind of thing in it. He knows it. He wouldn't have put these kind of instruments on it if he didn't want it to sound like that. If he's complaining that people say this sounds like his dad, then he's deluded, because he's made what, is absolutely a pastiche of his dad's style. If he didn't want to say that, he should have made drum and bass or something. But I'm a John Lennon fan. Now, the first shot of this video shows someone walking with a gas mask or a face mask past him in a deserted city. So immediately the resonance of this song's coming through. There's someone else with a face mask. Wow. I might cry again at this one. Saltwater might well in my eyes. Yeah, just a lovely song. Lovely eco. Very kind of just gorgeous. Yeah, brilliant. And it came from nowhere. It had no hits, no sniff of it. I suppose with the surname Lennon, it's kind of easy to get doors to open for you. But then again, you are going to always be son of John. And I think when we look back at how Julian was treated as a child, I think John was a pretty abysmal father in some ways. So it's a big family psychodrama going on. Yeah, very, very interesting. John, on the one hand, he had this sort of big, beautiful vision of the world. And then on the other hand, he was a really bad father, apparently. Very, very complicated. And this song, it's basically just... if the Beatles are still going, this is what they would have sounded like. Okay, we'll follow this one with Rush Rush by Paula Abdul, which is anything but Rush Rush. Quite slow and chilled. Not one of our most famous songs. Pretty forgotten now. Pretty bog standard, middle of the road ballad. Okay, well, we certainly had variety on this side. It's only about 4 songs ago we were down the hardcore rave. Now we're on West End Theatre. Jason Donovan, Any Dream Will Do, which I sang at school. I'm sure you did, part of Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. It's, it's just what it is, really. It's a musical song. He sings it okay. If you like the musical, you'd like that version. Nothing really earth-shattering, but nothing to hate on. It is what it is. Too Many Wolves by Kathy Dennis. Pretty respectable ballad for her. Bit better than Paula Abdul, Rush Rush. I would have maybe put these two together. Nice to have a slower song from her after all the fast ones. Alison Moyet, This House. I listened to it earlier because I'd forgotten it, and it really struck me how emotional it is. She's really giving it all in her vocal performance. And it's actually one of her best songs ever. And unfortunately, it really didn't do a lot. Kind of overlooked. But it's well worth a listen. Check it out. This House, Alison Moyet. Followed by Mark Cohen, Walking in Memphis. This song's hugely popular. I never really liked it. I preferred the Raving I'm Raving version of it, which Mark Cohen himself hated apparently and asked that they withdraw. It's very AOR, got that kind of piano-y intro. It's okay. I think Cher or someone did a version of it. Right, follow that up with Glass Tiger and My Town. Now, Glass Tiger are the kind of big country of the 90s. I think they'd had one big hit. I think they're from Canada, and they did one hit in the 80s that wasn't on now. This one's very anthemic and kind of almost bagpipey, even though they're Canadian. Right, what's next? Oh, yeah, another good one. Let me get this one on. And it is... now, the sequencing on this second side is actually a bit come hither, come thither, and I feel that I'm reflecting that in what I'm talking about, because I would have stuck this one on immediately after or before Julian Lennon. It's the Scorpions and Wind of Change, another big sort of post end of Berlin Wall song, kind of new era. I'm a big fan of this one, especially I love it. Scorpions' old stuff. They were kind of more traditional rock and roll, 70s kind of hard rock, songs like Another Piece of Meat. But here they are on an epic one. Just a huge... I mean, wow. All right, let's guess the stats time. How many people have watched this? Yup, 750 million. 752 million people. That is a song that has had an immense impact. And although maybe not musically that typical of the end of 91, I think this really does capture the culture of the moment of the early 90s, certainly across Europe, certainly across Eastern Europe. Yeah, wow, very epic. Okay, now we've still got a fair few to go. A lot of songs on here, it seems like. So it's going to be a long old video. This is followed by Shining Star by In Excess. Still going, still churning them out. Same as Disappear. They're starting to become a bit more interchangeable. I can't think of anything in particular about that one that makes it stand out from any of the others. Joyride by Roxette is still going strong. They've still got that late 80s sound. They've not really modernised it. But Joyride was a big pop song, big chorus, and yeah, big hit for the time. Okay, it's student disco time now. Let's stick this one on. And it's one of the classic indie songs of all time. Great band. I think the song was not that new when it came out. I think it was re-released. And it is this. I feel really bad when I just cut these ones off halfway through. It's really not good DJing, but this isn't about DJing. And as always, if you like the songs, I'm telling you where you can find them. Go out and buy the album. Now 90, not now 19, now 20. Yep, it's James and Sit Down. Just a classic indie song. Really good lyrics. And I think this song's about just kind of reaching out to the misfits and the lonely people and just sort of saying, I'll be your friend. It's great lyrics. Great Manchester band. This is followed by a strange cover, I Think I Love You, Voice of the Beehive. They've carried on going since 1988, on and off. This is an old Partridge Family song, but it's a really good cover actually. Really strong kind of indie dance cover. They really nailed it. Now, band least likely to appear on a Now album in 1991, Slade, Radio Wall of Sound. Wow. What on earth was Slade doing back on a Now album? Actually, it's a really good song. It's kind of heavy rock. It's very radio. It reminds you a bit of We Built the City by Starship, in a kind of Slade style. It's got like radio DJ voices and stuff. Clearly designed to be buttering up the egos of radio DJs who'd play it. And it was a minor hit for the time. I mean, Slade were damn lucky to have got a hit. Noddy Holder still in fine voice. I don't think he balls away like on Merry Christmas on this one. But yeah, interesting comeback, certainly. Now, talking of comebacks and songs that you would never ever expect to see on a Now album in 1991, but another reason why these Now albums are always so unpredictable, here is Monty Python, and a song that I'm going to play out with because I think this one really needs a lot of exposure in this time. Always look on the bright side of life. It's basically Eric Idle. It's credited to Monty Python. I guess everyone sang on the chorus. What can you say? Obviously, it's from Life of Brian. You're all whistling along, aren't you? And yeah, I don't quite know why it was re-released. Was the Life of Brian re-released or something? If you don't like this, there's something wrong with you. It's just brilliant. Totally relevant. I'm just watching this Top of a Pops thing and everything's breaking. Yeah, the original said Life's a Piece of Shit. I think they'd changed it to Life's a Piece of Spit on this one, and they'd done some kind of ad-libs at the end. So it's not quite the version that was on the Life of Brian. The music's pretty much the same. Brilliant. Yeah. Oh, right. And we follow this with one that I'm definitely not playing. The most annoying song of all time, probably. Eight bloody minutes of American Pie by Don McLean. So the last 4 songs on this. One of them's an old Partridge Family song. One's a Slade song. One's Monty Python, and one's American Pie, which is one of the most random ends to a Now album all time. Yeah, American Pie. What can you say? It's just another DJ song. Stick it on, go out for a fag, let it play for 8 minutes, come back. Right. Okay, let's go through this album. It's a really strong album, actually. Maybe not quite as up to date as 91. Quite a few oldies again. There were a lot of oldies around in the early 90s, weren't there? It's a weird mixture of oldies and real cutting edge stuff. So, Dizzy, cover of an old song, but a bloody great one. The Fly, U2, that's good and cutting edge. Something Got Me Started, that was Simply Red at their best. Sunshine on a Rainy Day, that's a good song by Zoe. Let's Talk About Sex, Salt and Pepper, that was good. Prince, Get Off. Go Moby, all-time classic. Grim Up North, a kind of art classic, if you like, art pop. I think Set Adrift on Memory Bliss is fairly classic. Thank you, Steve. And Saltwater by John Lennon. Not John, there was a Freudian slip. Julian Lennon, pretty big song. Andrew Lloyd Webber's Any Dream Will Do, if you like that kind of thing. Walking in Memphis, if you like that kind of thing. Wind of Change is a real classic song. Sit Down's a real classic song. And Always Look on the Bright Side's a real classic song. I guess American Pie. I'm not playing it. Okay, everybody, always look on the bright side of life. Now 20, very unpredictable, very interesting listen. Give it a shot. See you later, everyone.